Okay. So you may remember that it's the same place where we were last year in the Surrealism exhibition. Now the same space has two smaller temporary exhibitions. We have Roads to Jerusalem here, and we will go here to the self-portraits exhibition. So I will go inside now.
Wow.
And before we talk about the individual artworks, I would like to give you a small introduction, because this exhibition is an exhibition of self-portraits of 20 Polish contemporary artists, 10 men and 10 women. And it's a conclusion of a long-term project, a joint project of the National Museum in Warsaw and then the Association of the Friends of the National Museum in Warsaw. This association is an association that gathers people who support the museum. There are donors who support financially the museum. There are lovers of art who meet often here in the museum and support the museum in various ways. They also organize fundraisers. Sorry.
Rotating.
Sorry, that was a little technical issue. I hope it stopped now.
Yeah.
So this association also collects funds to support the museum collection, to purchase new items for the collection, and to support conservation processes for these artworks in various ways. They organize fundraisers and events. I'm sorry. So this association collected funds to make this huge commission to appoint 20 artists to create their self-portraits. And this idea came from the historical project that was initiated by the collector Hrabia Ignacy Korwin-Milewski. He was a 19th century collector, and he had this idea to create a collection of self-portraits of, I'm really sorry for this. The device seems to have some issues today. Okay, hi, sorry for this technical issue.
Worry.
I hope now it will be good. We test it again and it should be fine.
Okay.
So I was telling you about this idea of Hrabia Ignacy Korwin-Milewski, the collector in the 19th century, who had this idea to create a collection of the self-portraits of the most prominent artists of his time in Poland. So he commissioned 16, 17 self-portraits and portraits from these artists, and he had very specific instructions for them. He wanted all these portraits to be full body portraits, standing with neutral background, with the attributes of the painter's work, so a palette, brushes, and so on. And all the portraits were supposed to be with the same, were supposed to follow the same instructions. There was one painter who didn't follow these instructions, and it was Jan Matejko, one of the painters that I sent you the link to his self-portrait. We have here some reproductions of them. So this is him, Jan Matejko. These are the reproductions for the educational spot where kids can play, can touch this, not only kids, everybody. So this was Jan Matejko. He didn't follow the collector's instructions because he presented himself sitting in an armchair. So it was different, but other painters followed these instructions. So here we have one of them. For example, Kazimierz Pochwalski. Here we have Jacek Malczewski, one of the most famous artists in Poland. And among these artists was only one woman, Anna Bilińska-Bohdanowiczowa. And this is very symptomatic. Only one woman artist was among all those painters. So over 100 years later, the Association of the Friends of the Museum and the former director of the museum had the idea to continue with this project, to refer to this project of Hrabia Ignacy Korwin-Milewski and create a similar one now. So they decided to commission 20 artists to create their self-portraits, but this time there were no instructions. The artists were free to create whatever they chose to be their self-portraits. So in this exhibition, we will see not only paintings, but a lot of different mediums, a lot of different forms and ideas for the self-portraits. Because they were free to do whatever they thought defined them and consider they wanted to be their self-portrait. There was another important difference as well, because this time the association and the curators of this project, it was very important for them to appoint 10 men and 10 women, unlike in the 19th century when there was only one woman artist present. So we have 10 men and 10 women artists now. So this would be a brief introduction to this project, because it's important to know when visiting this exhibition that it's not only an exhibition, it's a very long process, and this exhibition is concludes the project. On the day of the opening of the exhibition in March this year, this collection that was funded by the association was officially donated to the collection of the museum. So now it is a part of the museum collection, and it's really interesting for us and really valuable for us to have this exhibition right now, because currently we don't have a gallery of modern and contemporary art, 20th and 21st century art, because it's under reconstruction for some years already, and it will continue to be so for some more time. So it's one of the few occasions in the recent years to see the contemporary artworks that are present in the museum's collection. Okay. Do you have any questions here at this point?
Why now, in this timing, to have this self-portrait exhibition? How did you decide to have now this self-portrait exhibition?
There is no other reason rather than the idea that came up a few years ago. Because now in the office corridors of the museum, we have a lot of paintings hanging, because not all collection fits in the galleries and in the storages. So many corridors also have the many paintings hanging there when we go to our office, etc. And many portraits from the collection of Hrabia Ignacy Korwin-Milewski are exhibited there. So we pass them every day. And so did the director and the members of the association. And one day they had the idea to continue with this project. They were inspired by this, and they decided to initiate this project. So the timing, there is no other than this idea was created, and they followed through with this, and it took several years to complete this project, and now at the end of it we have the exhibition.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's jump into the exhibition. It's divided into 3 parts, because the collection was created not based on any specific instructions, as I said. So the artists were completely free. But then when the collection was already gathered, and the curators had the task to create an exhibition. So they had to create some narrative in the exhibition. They had to try to connect the artworks in some way. And they decided to divide them into 3 groups. sometimes it's really hard to categorize some of these artworks. It's not also the main idea to categorize them in any way, but just to find the leads that connect some of them. And the first part is it got the title "A Classic Self-Portrait." So this in this first room we have works by artists who created the so-called classic self-portraits, even though in contemporary art we still don't have a classic self-portrait like in the old masters paintings, for example, but we have works here that refer to this traditional form of a portrait, of a self-portrait. They reveal something to us about themselves, about their work, about their studio, about their process of creating art. So in these terms, we can talk about a classic self-portrait. So for example, here, the first one is a two-part self-portrait. It's a portrait by Barbara Fallender. I will be showing you the names here so that you can see how they are spelled. This is Barbara Fallender. She's one of the older artists here in the exhibition, because I also should mention that this exhibition includes artists from different generations, from the already accomplished artists with a lot of with a really big oeuvre at this point, to the younger artists born in the 1980s, for example. So here we have Barbara Fallender, who's mainly a sculptor, and she created, and her self-portrait is two parts. Is this sculpture in red Albanian marble, that it's really good to look closely, because Barbara Fallender, she presents herself holding her hand in a very in a pose, like when she's thinking, maybe she's worried, she's revealing to us about her spiritual self, but most importantly about her the physical aspect of her body. She's not hiding her age. You can I hope the quality of the picture is good enough so that you can see the wrinkles on her face. You can see that she's not trying to idealize her body. She's not trying to make herself younger. She's staying true to her age, and this is a very also very good craftsmanship. You can see how the hair is presented more roughly, as well. Some other parts are very, very smooth. And additionally to this sculptural portrait, she created a drawing. So this is a two-part self-portrait. And she's Barbara Fallender is not an artist who created self-portraits often. In this exhibition, we have both artists who for whom their art is a lot about themselves, who created self-portraits multiple times, but we also find artists for whom it was the first time that they took up this subject. One of the other artists here is Łukasz Korolkiewicz, and this is a painting. Łukasz Korolkiewicz, and this painting is interesting for multiple reasons. One thing that's maybe striking in the first moment is that the artist himself is hiding at the edge of the painting. He's even making the gesture as we are not welcome in a way. We feel a bit awkward entering his personal space here. But there are many elements that tell us about his typical topics, about the some elements characteristic for his work, like the dolls that appear many times in his work, fragmented dolls as well. We have mirrors that are often something that comes to our mind first when we think about self-portrait, both in old masters art as well today when we talk about a selfie, etc. So in some ways this could also refer to the classical self-portrait. We also have, I think this could be one of the most interesting works in this room, another woman artist who created two self-portraits actually, this sculpture and this series of 3 photographs. So let's focus first on the sculpture. The name of the artist is Zuzanna Szor. She has the same name as me. And she created this sculpture that she called Magnolia Susan. And Zuzanna Szor, first of all, the composition, the way she's walking here, it refers to the movie that she starred in when she was 16 years old. She played the main role in a TV series called The Craziness of Majka Skowron. And the video that I sent you before about that she created, she refers to this video and this experience of acting as a teenage girl very often. This posture and this the way she is standing here or walking rather refers to the poster of this TV series and the intro of the series, where the main character Majka Skowron is walking in this very dynamic and energetic way. So she used this experience in many of her. She referred to this experience in many of her artworks, also in the video that I sent you, where you can see snapshots and parts of this TV series. So this was kind of a formative experience for her as a teenage girl. And then referring to this also, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but I hope so. When you look closely into her face, this side of her face has the full cheeks, is very full, like a teenage girl's face, while this side has more slim face, narrow cheeks. It's the face of a 60-year-old woman like Zuzanna Szor today. So she's also like Barbara Fallender. She's not hiding her age. She's connecting different memories, different experiences in this sculpture. And the sculpture is full of various symbols. Her age, she's also highlighting here at the base of this sculpture, because the base is created of 6 levels. So the 6 decades of her life. Another thing that's very symbolical here is the title of the work, Magnolia Susan, and we have here on the base this purple petals, these purple shapes, also refer to magnolias petals, their colors and their shape, and this tree here. It's all covered in this synthetic material. But it's a real tree that once grew in Zuzanna Szor's garden. Here she's talking about her personal experience related to this tree. This is a tree that she received as a gift from her beloved man. But and they planted it together in their garden. But when this relationship fell apart, when this love died, also the tree died. The tree became dry, and eventually, even though she said herself in a meeting with her that we had here 2 weeks ago, she said that she tried everything to keep it alive. She sought advice on how to take care of this tree and how to protect it, but it kept dying and eventually dried. So she decided to preserve it here as a memory of this relationship and this experience that was very important to her and symbolized a past trauma. Also in the back, we have parts of another tree that Zuzanna Janin has in her part-time studio in Tuscany. So all these elements have some reference to either her personal life or her work, places that are important for her. Another place is her hair and the back of the person. They kind of resemble a mermaid's tail. Can you see this?
Yeah.
This is also something very significant for the place where she works and lives, and her family lives for generations now. Around 8 generations of her family come from Warsaw, the city of Warsaw, and the mermaid is the symbol of the city of Warsaw, dating back to the 15th century. We have another work in this exhibition that refers to this symbol, and I will talk about it later. But in these multiple symbolical ways, Zuzanna Janin tells us about her life and her work. And even though we could say that it's nothing like a classical self-portrait like we know from art history, still by so many details and so many hidden symbols, we can read a lot about Zuzanna Janin's life and work. And the other self-portrait that she created, a photographic one, you can see in these photos her face that's fragmented. It's divided into multiple parts. Yeah. She created these photographs with the panorama function on a smartphone. Like when you try to make a panoramic photograph, but accidentally you have a person there, the effect is like this. The artist told us that in the beginning she made a photograph like this accidentally, but then she realized that this photograph of herself actually shows how fragmented her soul is at this moment, how broken she feels and she is when her relationship fell apart and her life and she felt her life was in ruin at this point. So this is how we can say she sees her soul at this point. And we can see her face with the background of a garden, of her house, or her studio. And she gave this work the name Self-Portrait Takotsubo. So you probably could correct me here if I'm wrong. This could be an interesting experience for me as well, because what we learned is that takotsubo is this kind of ceramic pot that serves for catching octopus. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is also the name of the broken heart syndrome in medical. Right? This psychosomatic disease that is commonly referred to as broken heart syndrome. So Zuzanna Janin talks here about her past trauma, about her broken heart in this photographic work.
What's the trauma for her?
She's talking about her broken heart, about the past relationships. She's also really open about the fact that she's the survivor of domestic abuse. So there are many experiences that she talks about here through this symbol.
I see.
This one is probably the one that we could say has the most relation to the traditional classical self-portrait, because we have the artist Jarosław Modzelewski. It's the self-portrait with pigments. So he's here in his studio. He's with his tools, with the pigments, brushes, and he's making his painting materials. What's interesting here is that this was painted with the egg tempera on canvas. So he could today go to the store and buy his paints ready-made, like most artists do. But in his self-portrait, he chose to depict the workshop of the artist by using the historical technique of the egg tempera, which requires a lot of effort and a lot of knowledge and skill to create nowadays. And he highlights the fact that the work of an artist, it's not only a concept and the vision, but it's also hard work and the craftsmanship that is not easy to learn and to master nowadays. So this is the part that he chose to highlight here. And on the other side of this room, we have a work that I personally find very interesting, a work by Rafał Bujnowski, who studied printmaking. And we have a series of 20 drawings. Some of them are easier to recognize. You can see the face more clearly. In some of them, it's more challenging to see something. But if you look closely to some of them, you will see, for example, wrinkles of the paper. You can see that it's not perfectly flat, that it has some cracks and wrinkles. So this could give you an idea of how. Here you can see the paper is even ripped. So. Do you have maybe an idea how he created these drawings?
No.
A part of this self-portrait is a photograph of him in the process.
Like real way. Printing of the face. Okay.
Yeah, he was he studied printmaking, but he mainly realizes work in painting and drawing. So these are drawings with charcoal, charcoal on paper, where he was pressing a piece of paper into his face, and with charcoal trying to keep the print of his face with the technique of the frottage. We tried doing it. It's not that easy.
You did?
We did it. We did it during workshops with kids, and it's actually a really interesting process. I can recommend you trying it. Okay. It's not easy, but it's really interesting because because Rafał Bujnowski tried doing it over a longer period of time. He wanted not just to give one impression, but he experimented with various face expressions. He wanted to give impressions of a happy face or disturbed face, different face mimics. Sometimes when you look close, you can try to see if it's actually if it's actually visible. But for Rafał
Applicants.
Bujnowski, the most important thing is the process. This was the whole performance that he also documented through photography, and he left one corner empty because he highlights the fact that for him it's an open process. This project can be continued, so therefore it's not completed yet. The curators also draw our attention to the touch of the artist. Each one of these drawings bears the mark not only of the drawing of the act of drawing, but also of the personal touch of the artist. And we can also see the reference here to the Veraikon, the print of Jesus Christ's face on the Saint Veronica's cloth during his passion. That is a motif very often we can often see in the medieval art, for example, and also in Renaissance arts. So following to the next room. This room, the curators entitled Dialogue with Likeness. So we have artworks here of those artists who try to hide themselves behind some concepts, behind some barriers for which we need some key of interpretation to discover something about them. They don't show themselves in a straightforward way. So in the beginning, we have a work, a very conceptual work of Mirosław Bałka.
Okay, that's
you can see that it's
self-portrait.
It's a self-portrait that is a hole in the wall. Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the title is the dimensions, the exact dimensions of this niche.
Nice.
That was built here by the museum team who were constructing the exhibition, and it's a hole in the wall. Mirosław Bałka measured his body with in a very detailed way, and he designed this niche that reflects his exact dimensions of his body. So he marks his presence in the exhibition through his absence. And as I told you in the beginning, the works constitute a part of the museum's collection now. So Mirosław Bałka didn't give to the collection an empty space in the wall. Additionally, this niche has to be built in the exhibition, and after the exhibition is finished, it has to be destroyed. For another exhibition, it will be built again. So what actually entered our collection is the instruction that Mirosław Bałka wrote, and this is how it looks.
I see.
This is not the exact instruction. Of course, I'm holding a copy. So he drew, and on the other side of the paper, he described how he wants this to be. He gave very detailed instructions. For example, he wants this to be in bricks, not painted, not covered with any kind of other material. He wants this niche to be so raw and simple. He also wants the base of it to be solid. It's not just a model, but it has to be solid enough to hold a person. If he would like to come here and make a performance, for example, he could do it because it needs to be solid. So based on this instruction, the architects of the exhibition created a technical drawing, and then it had to be approved by the artists for this artwork to be constructed.
Nice.
We have here another work that is very appreciated by the public. This is a work by Agnieszka Brzeżańska, another woman artist, who is hiding herself behind the cosmic diagram. When we look from afar, it seems to be just an abstract painting. But when we look closer, it's full of symbols that make up a cosmic diagram of the day and place when Agnieszka Brzeżańska was born. So the exact diagram presenting the celestial bodies in the sky on the day when Agnieszka Brzeżańska was born. And for a laik, it's not understandable. We need the interpretative tools to understand what the artist meant. The author is fascinated by astrology and cosmology, and she refers to it in many of her works. She's fascinated by such sources of metaphysical knowledge. And this is her name, Agnieszka Brzeżańska. Another one, Aleksandra Waliszewska, she's also an artist who tries to hide herself while uncovering something about her inner self, because she shows in the first glance a typical self-portrait, but we can't see the face. Instead, we can see something that's hiding deep inside. So what she's telling us is that it's not how we look, it's rather what sits deep inside our heads. And sometimes it can uncover something very disturbing, like this strange character here inside.
So this and the last one also, the title is non-title, right? No name on the
yeah,
title.
many of them have the title. The title is just untitled.
Interesting.
This is a work by Wilhelm Sasnal, and he is one of those artists who don't portray themselves in their work often. He rather portrays his family, his friends. He refers to this in his work, but it was his first time when he accepted the challenge to make his self-portrait. But he does it in an interesting way. He shows us the moment when he was on a skiing trip with his family, and he's making a selfie of a reflection in his son's skiing goggles. So it's a painting. It's all on canvas, but it's in a way refers to also the popular way of making photographs in the 21st century, and it's a reflection in his son's goggles. So also something very typical for him to portray his family. The curators also indicate that the way he's holding the skiing device here, the stick, looks a little bit like the horse riding lace. And this, according to the curators, is not a coincidence, because Wilhelm Sasnal is fascinated by one of the Polish artists of the 19th century, Piotr Michałowski, who in his work he painted a lot of battles, a lot of horse riders and horses. So this could be interpreted as a reference to the artist that he is fascinated by. Next to it, we have an artwork that is already a link between this section of the exhibition and the next section. The next section is called social engagement, and I will tell you more about it in the next room. But this artwork is a link because we also see an artist who's quite literally hiding from us. She's showing us the back of her head. Here we only see the back of her head, but the back of her head is the background of this strange clock, right? We have 3 different layers and 2 of them are moving. We have the outer one with the bird that is moving fast. We have the one with the night, the moths, I'm sorry, I forgot the word, the moths, which is moving in circles slowly. And then the one in the background that is staying still. So through this, Agnieszka Polska, the author of this work, here you can see her name, Agnieszka Polska, which is actually a bit funny because Polska in Polish means Polish.
Yeah.
So here she refers to 2 interesting theories. First of all, she's referring to François Broide, a French historian who created this theory of 3 times of history. He divided history into 3 times. So we have the short time, which is about historical events and political events, for example, like points in history, the short events in history. Then we have the cyclical times, which is about the cycles, for example, economic cycles, longer cycles in history. And then we have the time of the long lasting, let's say. So this is the time that we as humans living in a certain point in time, we cannot see this because it's the time that's necessary, that in which we can consider the history of civilizations or geological processes. So something that we cannot observe in such a huge scale, living in a certain point of time. So she's referring to these 3 different times in these different layers of her work. But then another one that she's referring here is the doomsday clock. Have you heard of it?
No. What is it?
The doomsday clock is something created in 1947 by the scientists at the University of Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. And then after the Second World War, the scientists and the Cold War and the nuclear threat, the scientists decided to create this clock, which at 12, when the clock would indicate 12 o'clock, that would mean the apocalypse, the destruction of the world and humanity. And they, after evaluating the nuclear threat and mainly the nuclear threat in the world at the current moment, they marked how much time we have until midnight, so until the apocalypse. And then since 1947, these scientists every few years, every time something important happens in the world, some processes move forward, they evaluate the threats, they evaluate the situation, and they decide how many minutes or hours are we from midnight, so from the apocalypse. And in 1947, it was mainly about the nuclear threat, but over time, it became also much about the social situation, the political situation, climate change, and many other problems the world is facing. So the interesting fact here is that in the beginning of this year, 2025, these researchers evaluated the situation again, and they set up the arrows of the clock again, and they mark them as at 90 seconds to midnight. So this is today, in the present day, we are actually the closest to the apocalypse since 1947, since the time when this doomsday clock was started. So Agnieszka Polska, through this work, talks to us about the passing time, the different times of history, and how insignificant we are, and she is, through this back of her head, while we are talking about different times in history and the long cycles in history and the long-lasting history, but also about the present day issues that we are facing, like climate change, like political problems and socio-political problems. So with this work, we are passing to the third and last part of this exhibition. And here, just 1 second, because I need to ask the staff of the exhibition to turn on one of the artworks so that you can see it. Just a moment.
Okay.
何かスイッチをつけるようですね。今は前の部屋を戻ってる。この人の大きさで穴が開いてるっていうのも
面
すごいですね。
この空間を買ったみたいな。
棺桶みたいな感じなのかな。
指示書も良かったよね。
指示書すごい簡単な指示書で。
ちょっとこの展覧会面白いね。
そうですね。しかももう3つ目の部屋だから、もう終わりに差し掛かってるっていう感じで。
時間も
10人の作家、10人の男、10人の女ってことで、まあ20作品ぐらいになるのかなっていう感じですね。なるほど。
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, again, the exhibition was just opening for the visitors. We were here earlier than the visitors, so some of the artworks were turned off, but now they are on. So in this room, I will go back for a second to this room where we were a moment ago, the dialogue with likeness. And we have one more work here, a conceptual work, which is basically this... It's basically this big speaker that is turning around, and it's a music installation that is playing on this speaker, just turning around, and therefore the sounds are being reflected by the walls that are closer or farther, and this way they attack us from different sides. Once they come to our ears from the left, from the right, from the back, or from the front. You can never know where it's happening, because it's reflected by the roof, by the ceiling, by the walls, by the floor, depending on how this speaker is turning around. And the sounds that you can see, it's a music installation by Katarzyna Krakowiak-Bałka, another artist. She works mainly in the medium of sound installations. She creates this very advanced technologically advanced music compositions and sound compositions. And here she as her self-portrait, she wanted to combine these two the two roles that she finds herself in. She, on one hand, she's an artist who creates those sound installations, very advanced and complicated. On the other hand, like all of us, she has her private life. She functions in the reality of the present day, of very practical works, like all of us, the houseworks and very down to earth things that everybody has to do. So she asked actors to resemble sounds of cleaning the house. So what you can see here are the sounds that she identifies with the daily life at home, the cleaning of home, but they are not recorded at home. They are recorded by people evoking this with their voice. So can you hear it properly?
Not properly, but yes, somehow we can listen. So how the heck this is the self-portrait? Did some organizer of the museum decided, or the artist Katarzyna think it's a self-portrait?
The artist decided.
Really?
Yes, as I told you in the beginning, the artists were completely free to represent themselves the way they chose. So for some of them, it was a painting. For some of them, it was something related to their process of work. For some of them, it was more about their appearance or personal life. For Katarzyna Krakowiak-Bałka, it was the combination of the two aspects of her personality and her work. So one is her identity as an artist who creates those sound installations, and the other one is her everyday life. And she's also commenting in a way on the gender roles in societies, where the role of a woman is often associated with the home life and cleaning, cooking, and other houseworks.
Very nice.
So now, following to the section we already started with this work by Agnieszka Polska. It starts here. So as we already talked about, Agnieszka Polska talks to us about climate change and about the environmental issues. So is Katarzyna Przezwańska. What you might find also interesting is that Katarzyna Przezwańska is right now the artist presented in the Polish pavilion at the Venice Biennale that just opened last month. So it's her work that you can see in Venice in the Polish pavilion. But here, she's a sculptor, and this is what her self-portrait is here today. It consists of various materials, such as, like you can see, banana branches, pebbles, brain coral, dried plant parts, eggshells, and so on. Various materials that are considered the poor materials. Something that she finds in nature. She works often like this. There are materials. Mainly organic components. She uses them a lot in her work. This way, she also highlights the boundary between the worlds of culture and nature, because she finds those elements in nature and she combines them into sculptures. So we could say it's a set of just random elements, but you can kind of see, if you look for a moment, that it could evoke some anthropoidal creature. We could see a spine in here. Can you see the spine? Some hair, the chest, And if we turn on our imagination, this could be identified as some kind of anthropoidal creature. But what's most important here is the materials that Katarzyna Przezwańska uses. She often uses those materials. She chooses them for their sensuality, their subtle colors, their various surfaces, and most importantly, they are often found. She picks them up in the forest on her walks, and this organic matter is something that is very important to her, because most of her works highlight these ecological issues that she's very concerned about. Two other works that we have here in this space talk about social and political issues that we're facing. This is a work by Izabela Gustowska. She's also an artist. She's one of the artists from the older generation. She was born in 1948. She's a professor at the Fine Arts Academy in Warsaw, and she's a media artist, multimedia artist. So this work is a bit unusual for her because it's a painting on metal. And you can see, first of all, you can see the mask on her face. So we can already understand that we find ourselves in the COVID reality post 2020. And she also has this red arrow, which for us in Poland is a very obvious symbol of the women's strikes. Sorry?
I didn't know that this means a women's strike, yeah? Okay.
The women's protests,
Okay.
the abortion laws protests. This is the symbol that was created very early on, that appeared on many posters and demonstrations that were held in Poland already from when the right wing, from when the Peace Party, the Law and Justice Party, started ruling in Poland. And they tried to make the abortion laws more strict and more severe, and eventually to ban abortion at all. So this is when these law reforms were trying to be passed. We had a lot of protests over the years, and here Izabela Gustowska is referring to the protests that happened between the 2020 and 2022. So when the Constitutional Court ruled that some cases of abortion are illegal, because currently we had, since 1993, I'm sorry, we had this abortion law, that abortion was legal in 3 cases: when the health and life of the mother was in danger because of the complications of the pregnancy; the second, when the pregnancy was a result of the crime; and the third, when the fetus was severely disabled or terminally ill. So they tried to make these rules stronger, more stricter, and to ban the third case. So abortion is not legal nowadays when the fetus is terminally ill or disabled. And this is when these protests started, and this is what Izabela Gustowska is referring to. These protests that happened mainly in the COVID reality. So many people came out to the streets despite the difficulty of the situation, and everybody's faces were covered with masks. The lower part of this self-portrait is a mirror. In this mirror, we can see a photograph of Izabela Gustowska from her youth, when she was a young artist back then, and it's the base of her person. So she is telling us here that the memories are the base of our existence, but we should look forward. We should live in the present day, and not we shouldn't look in the past. We should look into the future and follow in the future, but we shouldn't forget the memories. And another work that is that started some controversies about this exhibition as well is the work by Karol Radziszewski, one of the artists from the younger generation who are present here in this exhibition. And this is a digital recording. There are short recordings that are looped here, one after another. And this is Karol Radziszewski is the artist here. He's the one with the T-shirt and the chain on his neck. Okay. And the other guys are some models in his studio who he's working with. And they all have these pink balaclavas on their heads that were originally made by the grandmother of Karol Radziszewski, knitted by the grandmother of Karol Radziszewski. Okay. And they're members of his long-term project, started already in 2007, the Fag Fighters. The Fag Fighters is sorry?
No, sorry. Yeah,
it's okay.
The Fag Fighters is a symbolic fighting squad started by Karol Radziszewski, a group of men who are wearing these pink balaclavas. And Karol Radziszewski he's open about his homosexuality, and this is what his works often refer to. These Fag Fighters are supposed to fight the stereotypes about homosexual men in our society, who are often stigmatized and are often perceived by, on one hand, those very womanly men, but on the other hand, sometimes the society perceives them as violent and so on. So these Fag Fighters are wearing these pink balaclavas, and they are running around the city.
In this naked?
Yeah, they are naked. They are only wearing the pink balaclavas.
And even in the public? No.
No, they are here in this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And this is the video, or because it's a little bit moving, right?
Yeah, they are short videos combined together.
I see.
So this is, on one hand, is a classic art motif, because we have an artist with the models in his studio. So, but the figures are anonymous, and this video shows this gay squad, the Fag Fighters, where the artist brings attention to the ambiguity of the stereotypes applied to homosexuals, who are treated as, on one hand, this feminine and dainty, and on the other hand, as aggressive and dangerous in society. Yeah. So So this is mainly a commentary on the stereotypes that are around. And this is the last room of the exhibition. I hope it's a bit more quiet here. You can't hear the sound installation anymore. And the first work by Jadwiga Sawicka is a painting. A painting that has a writing in Polish, and this is something typical for her, for this artist. She often uses words, phrases, or words, or entire sentences. She puts them in either on paintings or on the walls, in various mediums. And because she says that the linguistic level is the same, is as important for her as the visual one. So they together, the words and the painting, they constitute one. And the phrase that she wrote here is, I will try to translate, but it's a bit of a word game as well. Is I rolled in sin. I rolled myself in sin. Okay. But the interesting thing is this last letter is in white, is empty. So you can understand it in two ways. You can either say tarzała się w grzechu, so it means she rolled in sin. But with the M, it's tarzałam się w grzechu, so it's I rolled myself in sin. So it can either be a confession that I covered myself in sin, or it can be a judgment that she covered herself in sin. And she refers again to the situation of women in Poland in the past years. She says that women shouldn't be told the moral rules indicated by just one political side of the society, which is very influenced by the Catholic Church. And this shouldn't be a dictated way of life to all women. So, and it's not only painting. When you look closer, you can see how very thick the paint is. But we also have parts of a collage. We have pieces of newspapers here included in the background. And you can even see here there's a photograph from a newspaper presenting nuns. So it refers very much to the way of life and the moral grounds that the Catholic Church promotes. So this is Jadwiga Sawicka. Another one we have here is Zbigniew Libera, and this is a photographic work. It's called Mami. That's his name. And Zbigniew Libera is here. This is him, but he shows himself twice in this photograph, because that's him, but that's also him as a baby.
Really?
Being held by his mom in a photographic studio. And he talks here about his childhood memory when he was taken by his mom to the photographic studio to have a picture taken. So he reconstructed the studio here, and he's being held by his mom. But you can see. Can you see her teeth?
Yeah.
In her face?
What happened?
She has the vampire teeth. She's on one hand, when you're standing afar, you can think she's smiling, she's happy, but the child is crying, and when you look closer, she has these vampire teeth. So the memory of Zbigniew Libera is that he, as a child, he really didn't want to have the picture taken. It was a very scary experience and very traumatic experience, which he remembers until the present day. He doesn't even remember why he was so disturbed, why he was so scared and angry, but he remembers this and his mother holding him tight and being angry at him, making a scene. That he's talking here about a traumatic childhood experience that he remembers and had an impact on him even as a grown man.
Interesting.
Another interesting self-portrait we have here, it's also a photographic one, and it's one by Rafał Milach. He's a photographer. He's the only Polish photographer who is a member of the Magnum Society. So he's mainly a reportage photographer, and he chose as his self-portrait to take a picture of his eye. that he was beaten at one of the demonstrations, and then he took a picture of his purple eye, and continued taking pictures of it until it healed. So this is the order that he took the picture. It was first purple, and then he captured the process of healing of the eye. But then he decided to put them in the reversed order. So we actually can see now the process, depending how in which language and which culture you either read from the left to the right and from the left to the right. We in Polish we read from left to right, so this would be the process that we naturally see. So instead of the process of healing, we see the process of deteriorating. And what he draws our attention here to is the process of deteriorating of the democracy in Poland. So he's also referring to the numerous demonstrations and the breaking of the constitution and the deterioration of democracy under the government of the right-wing party. But to end this tour, I would like to show you I think the two most interesting works in this room. The first one is by Paweł Althammer. He's a sculptor, and he created this pram that is, I don't know if you can see the scale here, but I'm gonna hold the piece of paper. I'm gonna put the piece of paper here so that you can see how big it is.
It means bigger than it's real.
Yeah, it is bigger than the pram in which we carry children, because it's a pram that is supposed to fit an adult. Paweł Althammer says a very interesting thing and shows a very interesting approach to the self-portrait, because he says, I am myself only in relation to others. So he constructed this pram in order to take his mother for walks, and this pram is supposed to fit an adult person. It was also used in a performance ceremony, let's say, that we have recorded here.
I see.
Paweł Althammer also employs a participatory approach in many of his projects. He's interested in the creative process, which can have unexpected outcomes when outsiders are involved and when other people are involved in his performance works. So he designed this pram for his mother, but it can also be a metaphor for existence from birth to death, because the artist also shines a light on the social exclusion of seniors and people with disabilities. This component of the work, this is the pram itself is the first component, and the video is the second component of the work. It's a video footage of Althammer taking the pram for a stroll in Warsaw. But he was joined by the members of Grupa Nowolipie. The Grupa Nowolipie is an art center for people who suffer from multiple sclerosis. And together with this group, Althammer walked through Warsaw from their premises, from where they gather, to the museum, to the National Museum in Warsaw, where they met in the main entrance with the management, with the director of the museum, and Althammer gave this pram officially gave this pram to the collection of the museum. So you can see the members of this group wearing these typical gold jumpsuits, and walking together. They are taking turns in the pram, changing through the walk, one person and then the next person. And it's also it's symptomatic because those many of those people wouldn't be able to take this walk if not for the pram and this joint effort. And the last one I wanted to show you is this impressive mermaid made by Joanna Rajkowska. So Joanna Rajkowska is an artist who also works with a lot with the public and public space, especially. She creates a lot of installations for the public space, and one of them is the palm tree in one of the roundabouts in Warsaw. That you can also check out. I sent you the link to the article about this installation. And Joanna Rajkowska is also very engaged in a lot of social issues and environmental issues. And here she chose to present herself as a mermaid, so as a symbol of Warsaw, again, the city with which she's connected, the city in which she works, and for which she created many projects. We can see, first of all, this work is also full of symbols and a lot of details that we can interpret. First of all, we have her bust and her face. It's a sculpture of Joanna Rajkowska's body and face. But when you look close, the body is covered in drawings of, for example, coral reefs. We have coral reefs, we have jellyfish, we have turtles swimming, but these coral reefs are dying, and you can see here also why. On her neck there is this rainbow spill of oil, like in the oceans and the sea. And this is why through the pollution of the oceans, the coral reefs and the underwater life is slowly dying. The hair of the mermaid, you can see, is made of a lot of cables and electronic trash. Most of this sculpture is made from recycled materials and recycled elements. So here we have cables and electronic waste. Her tail is made, the parts of her tail are made of cans, metal cans. We can even read Coca-Cola and other writings on this tail. So these were cans that she found in the forest while strolling around. It's also a commentary on the pollution of natural areas. And the base of the mermaid is also an old motorcycle waste. She took it from a dump, from a car and motorcycle dump. And it's also very symptomatic. The base of this triumphant fighting mermaid is standing on leftovers from an old motorcycle. She's covered in a lot of glitter that symbolizes microplastic that we are surrounded by all the time. But she's not giving up. You can see her fighting spirit and her gestures. Joanna Rajkowska says that we might still do something. We can still do something about it. And the symbol of the beginning of a new life is this this sprouting coconut, which also refers to her previous work, so the palm tree at the roundabout here near the museum. So also self-portrait through the issues that she finds important and she wants to talk about, but also as reference to her previous work and probably her most famous and popular work here in Warsaw.
Mermaid is somehow famous in Poland or Warsaw, right? Could you tell
In
me
Warsaw,
a little bit about?
yes.
Yeah, there's story about it. Could you tell me a little bit?
The mermaid is the symbol of Warsaw from already a long time. It also is on the city stamps and city coats of arms. It was not always a mermaid like we know mermaids today, because the mermaid, so half woman, half fish tail, it evolved, because originally a mermaid was more of a hybridic creature with the legs of a monster. So here we can also see the mermaid referring to the original 15th century city symbols. But if you're talking about the legend about the mermaid in Warsaw, to be honest, I would have to check it out again, because I don't remember it in detail to bring it up here. But I can get back to it on that.
Thank you.
Very interesting sculpture.
So that's the end of the exhibition. I hope it was clear, my explanations. If something wasn't clear, or if you would like to know more, please ask me either now or later. I will send you anything I find interesting additionally, if you would like to.
It's great to have such a VIP tour for us. Yeah. And there are so many varieties of the artworks or materials and concepts, but still, the central concept is self-portrait. It was quite interesting, and also really different from the last exhibition you showed me. There's the sorry, I forgot.
The surrealism.
Yeah, surrealism.
Yeah.
And much more conceptual, and also less I don't know, such a not so much political things happening in the surface level. So I quite liked the things, and so many eccentric works. And was it kind of allowed to have this kind of eccentric works in the 70s, 80s in Warsaw? No control from some strange action in the public or some strange motif. It was totally no problem for the exhibitions or to create these kinds of works. It was all okay, yeah. Or
nowadays it is. Even though we still find some backlash about some of the works, they are believed to be a bit controversial, but it was very important. It was very important for the curators and the association to leave a free hand to the artists, so that they can express themselves freely.
飯田先生何かありますか？
すごいやっぱり、そのコンセプトがすごい強い、モナリさんも言ってたけど、作品が多かったんだけど、まあそうだね。なんかそのコンセプトが強いっていう作品は結構ワルシャワの作家にとってやっぱすごい重要なことなのかなっていうのを感じました。
Yeah, he felt really important on artists to have such a conceptual theory in their artworks, yeah.
Yeah, some of them are really can be really surprising, and that's also very valuable for us to be able to show our public that a self-portrait doesn't always mean a photograph or a painting as a visual representation of the person, but it can be interpreted in many ways, and that's what these artists do. They show themselves through the parts of themselves that they felt important and meaningful.
Yeah, quite challenging things for the National Museum. That's really good.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
もう大丈夫ですか、じゃあ。
大丈夫です。あと、もし、if possible, I'd like to have a list of the works in this exhibition.
The list of the artworks.
Yeah.
It would be great.
Okay, because the list of the artists is in the description of the exhibition on our website, but I can send you a full list with the titles as well.
Yeah. This self-portrait thema is really, that can be for everybody in the world and for any centuries. So for students in our university, it's really good thema, so that we can also do for the students, like, please, let's create something according to the thema self-portrait or myself. This is really important things to see many things. And today. Yep. Okay. Thank you so much for the great exhibitions and the great explanation.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, with your explanation, that makes us so much too easy to understand the things and more closer to understand things. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it was enough of an explanation, but if you would find something not clear yet, I will be happy to send you more explanations.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Zuzanna.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so hope to see you next time.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.